I like to do it the old school way, with respect. I can take things and put them together and take them apart and make them better and put them back together. I respect the craft, so I don't want to minimize and disrespect the value of each step of the craft and do by machine what should be done by hand. I've made a career out of making colorful clothes. Like, I'm a grown man that makes colorful clothes. You know? These clothes look so playful and easy, but it's such an intricate process. And I want people to know that this is what it is. This is luxury. This is luxury athleisure.
For many generations, African-American designers have not been included within the conversation of high fashion or considered high fashion. In recent years, we see that emergence in that movement to really kind of put Black designers on that same level that we have cared for European designers in that way. With Black designers, their work is just as critical, just as artistic as any European or white designer or non-Black designer.
I hope that Black fashion is inspired by my movements, by the simplicity of what I do, by how clean my stuff is, by my ability to just put my flag in luxury and say, I'm a Black designer and I do luxury too. Hello, my name is Fresh. I'm the creator, I'm the CEO, creative director for luxury label Rich Fresh. We specialize in luxury athleisure and tailored garments. I'm a tailor by trade. I'm a designer by choice. We're downtown in the garment district, you know, close proximity to where everything is. There's just an energy that's downtown. There's a creative energy. We knew that we could find the type of factory we need to build. You gotta think about a person that was homeless at one point, didn't really have any money coming in. The fact that this person was relentless and just determined to succeed and not let rock bottom define him as an individual. I was for Puff Daddy. I always say I'm from Memphis, but I was born in Germany. You know, my parents were both military, they were in the army. A lot of my early memories are like Germany. So like the colors on the clothes that I used to see people wearing, the font was different, the advertisements were different, the architecture was different. Everything was just different in Germany than it was in the US. Subconsciously, it just got planted there somewhere, and I always kind of revert back to, this doesn't feel like something you see in America. It feels like something you could see in Germany or abroad. Once we moved to the States, in my first grade was normal, but I was bored. I was bored out of my skull. The second grade, they put me in this advanced class with second graders and third graders who were really performing on like a 5th and 6th grade level. And there was this girl who I had a crush on. Mind you, I'm one of the smartest kids at the school, and math is my thing. So the teacher asked if I would tutor her. And then I had this moment where I heard God. And I have this thing from time to time where I hear the voice of reason that said, you're doing this all wrong. She has a higher purpose. She has information that you need to acquire. So the first day of tutoring, as soon as we sat down, I just looked her right in the face and like, you need to know math. I'm very, very, very good at this. I got you. I suck at girls. How about we do an exchange? I'll teach you this, you teach me that. She was like, honestly, it's the way you dress. Like, I think if you dress different, girls would like you. Like, you dress like a kid. I said, what's it called? She said, I think it's called fashion. I said, all right, well, let me see what this fashion thing does.
What's up?
Appreciate you, bro. First thing I do is I meet with the client. Ellis. All right, man, all right. I take their measurements. 39, 44 3/4, 27 1/2, 22, track jacket length at a 26 1/2, skin angle at an 11 1/2. And then we discuss colors, concepts.
Navy black kind of goes with that, yeah. And that olive is a nice popping color nowadays too. Yeah, I like that.
Then I put together a digital mock-up of the tracksuit with all the various colors, you know, that I'm gonna use for the base, for the top stripe, the bottom stripe, the piping, all the different layers of the tracksuit. Then I'm gonna send that to Michelle, who's my production manager. She takes everything from concept to production. She is responsible for delegating who gets what. Like I've got a number of jacket tailors, I've got a number of pant tailors, I've got a number of hand finishers who are going to complete the process. The first step of the production cycle is the pattern. You know, you can't make any garments without a pattern. So she's gonna take it to our pattern maker and show him all the various measurements. He's gonna build out the pattern, draw every piece out, cut every piece. It's an old school process of measurements, marks, measurements, marks, measurements, marks. Drawing lines, drawing lines, drawing lines, drawing lines, drawing lines, drawing lines, cutting. That's your block, that's your pattern. So the pattern has to get transferred to the garment, and oftentimes it'll just get laid on top. Tailors are so precise, they don't even need to pin it. And then from there, you gotta cut out the fabric. It's a special grade of neoprene, more water repellent, it's a little bit more dense, it's a lighter weight. You know, it absorbs colors really well, and it has a nice sheen to it, you know, it looks really luxurious. My senior year in high school, I was like, I'm gonna take home ec just to see if there's anything else I can learn. My teacher was out. We had another teacher who came in to instruct, but they couldn't sew. So I volunteered to be that person because I could sew better than anyone else in the class. The kids would call me Ralph. They would call me Tommy because, you know, it's Tommy Hilfiger, it was Ralph Lauren. My brother Chase, he used to dress real rough. Camouflage pants, oversized, and I always saw how he got dealt with. And so one day I was like, hey bro, we gotta switch that up.
The first moment I knew there was like something different, like other than the rest of the kids that were playing basketball and tennis and baseball in the neighborhood, was this dude made a pair of moccasins and then took them to school and was like selling them to kids, and was actually taking orders.
So I started like dressing them, you know, styling them, like the whole thing from head to toe. You're gonna get your hair cut, when I get my hair cut, we're gonna do this, boom, boom, boom. And so I saw his image shift. He was perceived differently.
And regarding this new era that we're in, this new chapter where you have these Black designers really inserting themselves into the luxury space, is quite a fascinating dichotomy. I applaud it. They're really kind of building on the shoulders of African American designers who couldn't really stay there for a long time and have long-standing power. Zelda Wynn Valdez, very much known in the Harlem realm of dressmaking and in New York fashion, specifically Uptown. She was credited with producing, manufacturing the Playboy costume, kind of a heralding figure within fashion and for African Americans, because really she was a part of several organizations that really mobilized around the education of African Americans within dressmaking and within the garment industry, and giving them new opportunities that most people weren't even thinking. You have Stephen Burrows in the 1970s, who rose to fame with one of the most notorious fashion events on this side of the pond, the Battle of Versailles in 1973 that took place at the Palace of Versailles, where you had the American designers pitted against the French designers. Stephen Burrows was the only Black designer present. A lot of things happened within his journey, some things that were out of his control. You have to chalk it up to the system of fashion that didn't allow him the standing power that someone like Ralph Lauren had.
Everything is custom, everything is so specific. We don't have an assembly line system. When it touches a tailor, it finishes with that tailor. The pattern maker is also cutting the fabric. So he's gonna cut the block that's gonna be the trouser, he's gonna cut the block that's gonna be the jacket. There are a number of steps that go into it. We've got to assemble the sleeve panel. This sleeve is a 2-panel sleeve. So this is 2 different pieces that have to be sewn together. We need the top stitch just to reinforce the outer seam on the sleeve. We've got a chest panel which takes into account each of the track stripes. We've got a pocket that's cut into the lower panel on each side, but again, this pocket is cut through the stripes. They've got to put each of these pieces together very specifically. We've got our collar assembly, the outer collar. We've got our inner collar assembly. The back has to be assembled, so, you know, all of the stripes have to be built into the back panel as well. There, the zipper assembly with the zipper facing is built in. All the final touches before it makes its way to hand finishing. I got married young, I got divorced young, but I got married when I was 20, so now I'm 21. I'm starting this new business, doing alterations, because this is the only thing I really knew how to do. And I figured, the goal is to get volume. I need to get money. I started my first business maybe 6 months later, doing alterations for dry cleaners. 2 years, I had it and then I closed it, which was a traumatic experience. But then I noticed a cool thing. People started calling me, not for the cleaning, but for the tailoring. They were like, hey man, sorry to hear about your cleaners, but can you still alter this suit? I really love the way you did this, that, and the other. So I was like, I'm gonna position myself as a concierge tailor, and I'm gonna just travel to people. Before I got divorced, I had a child. So right when my daughter was like 6 months old, me and her mom split. That was the first time I just thought about I don't have to do this thing here in Memphis. Life is gonna change dramatically. I don't have to do this thing the way I've been doing it. I just got tired of being broke in Memphis. Then my brother lost his job in Nashville. So I was like, bro, just, come back to Memphis, we'll figure out what it is. We would talk about dreams and big things and what could one day be possible. We just came to the realization that it was where we were. Didn't matter how progressive we moved, the environment was not gonna lend itself to the success that we deserve. We had to be somewhere else. Let's go to the West Coast. We hopped in the car and we just drove for 3 days across the country. Landed in San Diego, started up the old business doing alterations for dry cleaners. And then, disaster struck. Our parents got divorced right when my daughter was born. So up to that point, my dad had never even seen my daughter. And then out of nowhere, we get a call that he's in the hospital and it's bad, and he dies at 52. Just out of nowhere. I ended up losing all my accounts with the dry cleaning stuff. My brain wasn't there. I didn't care about any of that anymore. So one day, we decided to just take a drive to Los Angeles. And I had a client, a rich client. He said he needed a bunch of suits made. I was like, you're talking my language, Jack. I used my money to front the cost to produce all these suits, which is all of the money. That payment never got made. So here I am now, I ain't got no more money. I went from having $8,000 just the other day, so now I got like 200 bucks. I look up and now I'm homeless. I hear God, and I hear this voice that says, you're so mad. You're just so mad. I'm just really disappointed in how you've chosen to make this man your God and not me. You go to this dude every day asking for this money. You ain't came to me not once. He cannot save you. I can save you. You need to talk to me. And I listen to God. I don't want to be this guy rich who has just chased the money, but he lost his soul in the process. I want to be something different. So I want to change my name to Fresh. I want to chase that. The money's going to come, but let me just be focused on the business and being different. I left the shelter with $300. And I told God, I'm gonna take this measly ass $300 and I'm gonna turn this into $1 million in a year.
The real kicker was that tracksuit. When he dropped the tracksuit, I was like, that was it, that was game over.
I noticed this lady with a color block sweater on, and I just thought about how cool it was that whoever designed that sweater could design it one way, but change the colors and manipulate it to create 10,000 different variations of that one sweater. I thought about what I could create like that. And I came up with this pant that had prominent stripes. They were like trousers, but it was some color blocking, and I could design it one way and make it in a bunch of different colors, and the material would be super comfortable. Then I followed up with a jacket, I needed a jacket to wear with it. And I like retro style.
He did some suits for Draymond Green and some other ball players, right out the gate. He was doing some really dope suits.
Rich Fresh made the suit. He go by Rich Fresh. He from LA. Well, he not from LA, but he lives and works out of LA. He's really good.
A Rich Fresh garment is not a Rich Fresh garment without two indicating factors. One is this yellow tab right on the side of this garment. There's a yellow grosgrain tab. It's very specific. It's on the side of every single Rich Fresh garment in existence. On the trousers, as well as the jacket. On every garment, whether it's a suit jacket, whether it's a robe, I don't care. And then the second thing, there's always Rich Fresh made in Los Angeles, because it is in fact made in Los Angeles, and people should be aware of that. And then it goes from there to almost the last step in the production process. You've got the waistband. This is the trouser waistband. It's got a built-in hook and eye closure. If you do lose a little bit of weight, you can actually cinch this and it'll take it in 3/4 of an inch on each side. Once the sewing process is done, it goes to one of the hand finishing tailors. There's a lot of handwork even on a tracksuit. Like the hem on these trousers is done by hand. There's an insane amount of hand finishing on the insides of the jackets because it's unlined. So when you open it, it's beautiful.
Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good, man?
Oh man, appreciate you, dog.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Once I'm presenting the suit to the client, you know, it's a full-on presentation. So it's a very minimal garment bag. You don't know what to expect. I kind of like that element of surprise.
You didn't see it all, did you?
No.
Great, great, great. Remember what we discussed?
Yes.
I'm from Memphis. I'm gonna say something slick.
What did we discuss?
It's the navy blue with the black,
Ooh, and then what else?
little olive.
Ooh, is that true? Is that what you think?
And then I'm gonna open it, and the client's usually gonna scream.
Ooh. This shit like this?
Oh, man, I see
This
some
shit like this?
fire.
Or exhale real heavily. There's always a moment of drama every time I unzip and fold it back.
Oh, my goodness.
It wasn't by chance.
Bro,
By chance.
bro.
Some shit like this? Something like this? You
Man.
put these on, then when you come back, I'll put this on you.
All right, bet. That's what I'm running the bathroom.
So I let them have their moment.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
100%.
oh,
100%. Right, bro.
oh, oh, oh,
Like, you don't even have to think about it.
oh. Oh,
Right?
oh.
I'm gonna make sure that, you know, everything fits the way it's supposed to. And again, if anything needs to be modified, now's the time. But if not, we shake hands, we hug it out, and they take it with
I
them.
noticed it, but I'm just taking all of it, taking all of it in.
My hope is that they will be given more and more opportunities to flex their skills, to show how dynamic they are and what new, fresh elements of art they can bring to the fashion industry.
It's kind of like a pursuit of happiness story almost, you know? And like that was one of his favorite movies. I'm not even gonna lie. He watched it so much, it used to get on my nerves. It became part of his story. But one of the most important things I could take away on an entrepreneurial level and as a businessman is just dream big and go after your goals. The only one that can stop you from becoming successful is yourself.
When I started, I had no idea it was going to turn into this, which is a tracksuit empire. I don't have any investors. All this is all money in. This is me going out and hustling, bringing that money back, and just building it, building it, building it.
There's so much more beyond this guy. There's really no telling what he would come up with, but we do know whatever he comes up with is gonna be dope. So, yeah, there's no limit. You can't put him in a box. You can't put a sky over him because he's gonna bust through it. Yeah.